Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. I want to do a quick video on this knife. This is the production Shamwari that was recently released, a collaboration between custom knife maker Gareth and although his brother is part of his team, Jason Bull of South Africa, and then the knife production company We Knives of China. So two different, custom maker, production manufacturer came together, did a production run, and there was a huge backdrop of demand and anticipation on this production knife because of the popularity of the custom. So I just kind of want to go through, tell you guys a little bit about it. We're going to keep this pretty informal here, but here's what it ships with. A little branded cloth pouch and a little white cardboard box. So packaging is somewhat underwhelming for $275 plus shipping. But anyways, let's take a look at the specs on this one. So we're going to grab Kershaw dividend and Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So 3-inch handle, 3-inch blade, 4-inch handle, 7 overall. It is coming in at 0.44 thick on the handle here, so under half an inch, a little bit thinner. It does use stainless Torx hardware throughout. It does run on bearings and have ceramic bearings, ceramic detent ball, stainless steel lock insert, blade steel, CPM 20 CV, and of course it is a front flipper. So yeah, we'll look at that a little bit more here. And on my scale, weighed in at 2.88 ounces, so fairly lightweight, but it still feels fairly robust. I mean, it doesn't feel cheap or weak at all, even though it's under 3 ounces. Again, price with shipping was $283 shipped, and the blade stock was coming in at 3 millimeters, and thickness behind the edge was like 0.02. It came in a little bit thinner than the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and it does employ a nice high hollow grind. So crown spine, jimping of course for the front, flipping action right here. So those are the specs for the most part. So in terms of kind of my overall impressions, it's fine. I like it well enough. I mean, I'm not. I don't know. There was just so much hype around this knife that it's kind of hard to say. I mean, it's a nice knife. It's a nice design. It's well made. We Knives does a pretty good job overall. $275. Seems okay. But some people are paying, $400 or $500 for these things on the secondary market, and it's absolutely not worth that. And as far as I'm aware, there should be a second production run coming at some point. So again, the fact that you're paying, 2x multiplier above does seem a bit crazy. But if you really want it, you've got the money to burn, knock yourself out. I wouldn't pay that for it. And again, the reason I got it was because I was simply curious to see, how it kind of stacks up against the customs. I've handled the customs at knife shows multiple times. The action is slightly different. I would say this is probably about 90% of the custom, give or take. The main difference is really kind of in the detent strength and the smoothness of the action. But I think otherwise it essentially has the same feel in hand. Again, it's going to perform well. It's got a nice hollow grind to it. But I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's nice. But I mean, that's pretty much it for the price. It's okay. I mean, the packaging was a little blah, but yeah, let's do some macros here. Kind of a bead blast. Definitely a really large, oversized logo here, and don't love it, but I think it's really important that if you make a production version of a custom that you're currently producing, there needs to be a very distinct difference between the production and the custom. Obviously, the huge, oversized logo here does help to differentiate it. If the waters become muddy as to whether what's production and what's custom, that'll definitely hurt your market as a custom maker. and inevitably the prices of your customs will start to suffer as a result. So again, don't love the huge oversized logo, but it is important that it's very clear that this is not a custom. So T8 Torx. Notice the chamfering around all the edges. They did a good job on the chamfering. There's no sharp edges on the handle or, you know, really anywhere but the secondary bevel. So they crowned the spine, which is pretty cool. Jimping's really nice. Lock insert. 3D milled clip. Standoff is shouldered, so a part of the standoff, you know, goes into the handle on both sides, which gives it additional stability. There's the cutout to get the lock bar. But yeah, some people were complaining that the detent was too strong. I prefer stronger detent, and so I think it's fine personally. I did go in, take it apart, clean it, lube it, and I flipped it a ton, and so I think just me flipping it a lot has helped to kind of decrease it. It's broken it in so the detent doesn't feel as strong, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Now the pivot was like super glued or Loctited. It's not a captured pivot, so you do have to get a T8 Torx head on both sides and, you know, kind of crank from both sides to get it open. That was less than fun. But yeah, so let's talk about drop day, and then I kind of want to talk about why I think this knife is so popular. The initial drop day, demand was so high, people crashed the server. They had to regroup and come back, beef up the server, and try to do a second drop day. Well, unfortunately, even with the beefed up, you know, server traffic ability, the server crashed again. And so they made a post that said, hey guys, sorry, we're going to have to regroup and try again. So after 50 minutes of trying, I left it. I went about my day. 30 minutes later, in an Instagram chat group, someone said, hey, the drop is working now. And so I'm like, I haven't seen any updates. So I go to the original post that said, sorry, we're going to have to try again. And in the comments section, basically, they're like, hey, orders seem to be going through. So I went online, placed an order, went through, didn't have a problem. But a lot of people were upset because there was a post saying, hey, it's not going to happen today, and then it ended up happening that day. So, I mean, I get it. You know, I mean, that's less than ideal. But there always seems to be some sort of drama around, you know, Gareth Bull and his knives. And again, I haven't really chased his custom, so I'm not really privy to all of the stories or whatever the drama is, nor do I really care, to be honest with you guys. So anyways, it was kind of a mess as far as the drop goes. Essentially, once people stopped trying, the people that were still trying, orders finally started going through, and so they just allowed them to go through, and so all the knives sold that day. Again, should be another drop coming. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same or different or when it's coming. I have no details there, but I've heard a second drop is coming. So anyways, you know, why is this knife so popular? Some people are going to be quick to say there were some influencers who have hyped the knife and it's still just writing, you know, fake hype. There's no substance there. But, you know, this knife, or the custom version of the Shamwari, has been selling at really high demand for, I want to say, at least 2 years, maybe more. And if the knife was all hype and no substance, typically those would fizzle out after 6 months to a year as far as what I've seen. So, you know, while some influencers may have put the spotlight on the knife, the people that have bought them have seemed to be fairly happy with the knife, assuming everything's in good order, of course. You know, again, the customs, they typically have a little bit lighter action than this one, so they pop open with ease, and then, you know, they have a really clean drop shut action. But to me, this knife is essentially a Sebenza on bearings that's a front flipper, right? So, you know, it's got a very clean design. It's comfortable in the hand. You know, there's no hot spots on this or the custom. On the customs, the action's quite nice, and he does a pretty good job with the finishing. So, you know, yeah, of course, if you make a Sebenza-esque design on bearings, whether front flipper or not, it's going to demand a lot of attention and excitement, and people are going to keep going to it. I mean, the design is so clean and simple that while you may not like the maker, it's really hard to dislike the design. You know, especially I think that front flippers by and large are even more clean than a knife with thumb studs. So, you know, again, that's my opinion as to why the knife has been so incredibly popular and the auctions have commanded such high prices, and people are selling the customs for like 2 or 3 times the original price, even 4 times the original price. So again, that's just my opinion. That's why I think it's so popular, despite there being some issues with the maker that, again, I haven't really followed, and again, nor do I care about. But yeah, it's nice. It's fine. It's a good little knife for sure. But again, I wouldn't be paying, you know, double the price for it. So a lot of other great knives out there in a similar size range with equally good build, construction, and materials. So if you're going to be around this hobby for a while, just be patient. I think you'll pick one up eventually for a decent price if it's something that you really want. But patience is key. So anyways, guys, I mean, that's my thoughts on the knife. I have no intention of trying to chase down a custom version of the Shamwari at any point. I mean, it could change in the future, but right now the demand is too high. I just don't really need... There's a lot of other really good knives that are easier to get for less money, so not saying there's anything wrong with the custom, but yeah. All right, I will leave it there. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully that answered your questions. You can follow me on Instagram for more daily content, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.